What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Spanko, and today I'm bringing you guys a true Draco deck profile for the July 15th, 2019 ban list. Yeah, that's what it was. This was a really big ban list. It was crazy. And don't worry, before you guys start asking, yes, I have a lot of deck profiles coming on the way for the updated list. I have an Altergeist list. I have a Solemn list even. I think I have a Thunder Dragon list as well that I'm working on, which just is a bunch more Crusaders essentially. And so we don't really know what the format is going to be like. I did bring you guys this deck, or I wanted to bring you guys this deck first, because even though we don't know what the format is necessarily like, I think I have an idea of what the best decks are going to be, and I think it's going to be Pendulum, and then the Crusadia Guard Dragon. I don't know if the Thunder Dragon is going to be still involved in that, probably might be, but it's going to be either Pendulum, Crusadia Guard Dragon. I think Rocket could be okay when it comes out. So this deck is essentially built to combat the new, I guess, quote-unquote new meta. So yeah, we'll just get right into it. But before we get into it, I should ask for you guys to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, so hopefully we can get to 1,000 as soon as possible. I want to do something big for 1,000 like subs. I haven't figured it out yet, but I want to. So anyways, we'll get into the profile. The main deck is 42 cards. Obviously, you're not playing an extra deck, but I will be showing you guys a side deck as well. The side deck, again, is going to be a little bit, like, can be changed because we don't know exactly what the format is yet. It hasn't, like, solidified itself. But yeah, so for the main deck, you are playing 42. It is 1 Dynamite Knight, triple Ignis, and double Majesty. Now, people used to play, and I used to play, actually, triple Majesty. The issue with it is that when you draw too many cards, or too many monsters, I should say specifically, it actually becomes really bricky for this deck. So the thing is, like, you really only ever want to draw one monster, and sometimes you don't even want to draw monsters, but you want to have cards that will get you to monsters, because all these monsters are searchable, obviously, with Diagram. Terraforming did go to 1, unfortunately, on this new ban list, so you're only playing 1 Terraforming, which means less ways to get to Diagram. But it's okay, because in this deck now, I'll show you guys later, but there's more ways to get to these. But that's it for the monster count, essentially, because the 1 Dynamite, 3, and 2, so 6 monsters. You could bump it up to 7. I personally didn't like it. I also don't like Desires, but I'll explain that in a little bit. So for the spell cards, obviously you're still playing triple Dragonic Diagram. This is the heart and soul of the deck. Still want to get to it as soon as possible. Yes, it's not like super broken. I don't think it's as broken as it once was, but the reason you still want to play 3 is obviously it provides protection for your monsters, and because you're playing such limited monsters, Diagram is really, really good. Of course, 1 Terraforming, because now Terraforming is only at 1. That sucks. It hits a lot of decks, man. Terraforming going to 1 sucks. Like, they should just hit Mystic Mine, if I'm being completely honest, because I know they hit Terraforming, I know they hit Metaverse for Mystic Mine, but Mystic Mine should not be in this game. Like, I'm just going to say it. Mystic Mine should not be in this game. But yeah, 3 True Draco Heritage. This is now for, like, the True Draco spells. 3 Heritage and 3 Disciples. I think these are necessary. I don't think you ever cut down on them. They're too good. You want to see them as soon as possible. Triple Card of Demise, still like the heart and soul of the deck. And a lot of people aren't playing hand traps. I actually should mention that as well. This deck kind of struggled when people were playing a lot of hand traps. The thing is now, the Crusadia Guard Dragon or the Thunder Dragon builds, they can't afford to play hand traps in the main deck, because they lost their baby dragons, and so they need to add more consistency cards, and they can't afford to play that, like, hand traps. Even with Salamangre, I don't think it can afford to play that many hand traps anymore, because again, it did lose Gazelle, it did lose Circle. I think you can still play the deck, and I'll show you guys, like, trust me, I have a build for it. It's kind of cool, but you can't afford to play as many hand traps as you once were, and this deck obviously doesn't lose to impermanence. So the only thing is that Ghost Ogre hurts this deck, Ash and Droll also hurt this deck. The thing is, like, no one's playing that right now. Maybe Ash, but for the most part, no one's playing hand traps right now because they can't afford to in their main decks, at least. So Card of Demise, it's always going to, like, a lot of the time it's going to be safe. Obviously, you don't always want to do it first unless you completely brick. You want to see if you can bait out a hand trap or 2, but a lot of the times these cards are really, really safe, which I like about that's why this format, I think this deck actually does get, like, inherently a little bit better, because hand traps are going to be less played, or they can't afford to be played in a lot of decks. So yeah, and I am playing 2 Pot of Duality. For the same reason you're playing Card of Demise, you just want to dig into your deck as deep as possible, get to your floodgates early, get to your, you know, problematic cards where your opponent can't really play, and then you essentially win the duel there. So that's it for the spell cards. Off to the trap cards, I'm going to start off with the True Draco / True King, I guess. So you're playing 1 Return, triple Apocalypse. Now, the thing is, I personally thought, like, this ban list came out of nowhere. I personally thought Return was going to come off the list, or come to 2 at least, because it is getting a reprint in OTS 11. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, so it's potentially, you know, they could potentially bring some True Draco cards back. Maybe, I thought this card might come back to 2, honestly, Dynamite Knight, because, I mean, the deck's good. I guess if they did give them too much, like stuff off the ban list, I feel like the deck could be like actually insanely good. I feel like it would just go to back True Draco Pendulum format for like the third time. So I guess maybe that's not why they didn't put back Return, but I was still a little bit shocked that they didn't bring Return, even though they're reprinting in OTS 11. But one thing they did bring back, and the reason I'm loving this deck right now, is Solemn Judgment is at 3. Now guys, don't hate me. I have 1 Secret Rare and 2 Ultras. I need to get like a 3rd Ultra. I cannot do this Secret Rare. I really do. It's not even that I don't like it. It's just I don't like the mismatching. Also, one's German, so it's just really random. But anyways, so triple Solemn Judgment makes this deck, so playable. And the reason I say that is because Solemn Judgment is always live. Literally always live. You can have 2 life points and Judgment is live. Like, this card is amazing. Also, this deck did lose to Twin Twister and whatnot. So the thing is, Judgment now, and like people used to play Dark Bribe, right? Because the thing with Dark Bribe is like, because you only had 1 Judgment, so you play Judgment plus 2 Dark Bribe to stop yourself. And a lot of people would also side deck this card, right? Now I think you just main it, because now going first, a lot of decks, like, they lost a lot of consistency, right? Thunder Dragon, Danger, whatever, lost a lot of consistency. Orcus lost a lot of consistency. Like, don't get me wrong, I think those decks are all still playable. It's just the issue is they're a lot more fragile now, right? So playing something like Judgment, insanely good. Love this card for the deck. This card especially makes this deck really functional now. You do not lose to Twin Twister. You don't lose to a bunch of stuff. This is amazing. I really like this card back at 3, and it really brings, like, you know, functionality back into this deck, and consistency too. Triple Imperm. This is I guess the expensive quote-unquote card in the deck. Infinite Impermanence. You kind of have to play it. It's the only hand trap this deck can play. It's like the literal hand trap. It's the only one that this deck can play. You can't play other hand traps, and like being able to set it also is really good. Going turn 1, like drawing into this is never bad going like turn 1, right? Same thing with like if you're going second, if you're forced to go second, because this deck obviously wants to go first, right? The thing is with the deck is it can go second, because like with Apocalypse, with your True Draco like trap cards, or spell cards I should say, you can break through boards pretty easily. It's just, you know, like, imagine having an Imperm going second. It's like your opponent won't be able to make that board, per se, you know? So having 1 Imperm... Also, if you guys don't know, like, Imperm is not once per turn. So drawing multiple is actually not even horrible. You can stop your opponent altogether with double Imperm, right? So this deck, you know, can utilize Imperm really well. There can only be 3 of... Now, I still think this is the best floodgate in the game. Like, literally the best floodgate right now. Because beats Pendulum, beats Salad, if Salad is still played, beats Orcus. Like, this card is insanely good. The thing is, this card going second is also really good, because going second, you can just set this card, and then on your opponent's turn, try to flip it, assuming, like, you know, you can get around their negates, you can get around whatever they're playing. You can flip this card, and the thing is, this card does break the board. So that's why I really like these floodgates, and I chose the cards in this deck to be able to break boards and then stun your opponent. So this card can essentially break a board, and then your opponent really can't play around this card, right? I am playing double Waterfall. We had to play Waterfall, like, without diagram, or without being able to see diagram as much. Waterfall is really good. Also, it helps you dodge a lot of stuff. So if you do have like a monster on board and your opponent is gonna get rid of it somehow, it does help you dodge a lot of stuff, where you can send the card or one monster from your field. You can also do it from your hand, but you're never really doing it from your hand, but from your field to the graveyard, and then draw cards equal to the numbers of monsters you sent plus 1. The thing is, this card is also kind of good, whereas like later in the game, if you have this card set, you activate Demise and you draw like multiple monsters or something, this card at least helps you play around that, where you can actually discard your monster and then draw more cards. So Waterfall is pretty like dual purpose essentially, but really, really good. Triple Monarchs Erupt. Again, this card doesn't necessarily break a board. It doesn't help your opponent establish a board at all. But if you do flip this, even going second, like obviously going first, we all know how strong this card is. But even going second, like if you set it on your opponent's turn, flip it, if they can't activate their effects and they don't have like OTK already on board or whatnot, like they won't really be able to play. So essentially, you'll slowly be able to start to pick apart their board, and then just you'll win the game just because you'll have too much advantage. Double Crackdown. This card isn't as good as like the hype made it to be when it came out. I thought it was gonna be like amazing. I thought it was gonna be really, really good. I do still think it is good. It is a form of disruption, so it doesn't hurt. Going second as well breaks your opponent board somewhat. So it is still pretty good. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but you don't want to maximize out on it. Honestly, you can even cut it to 1 or not play it at all. I really like it though, so that's why I play it at 2. and then the 1 skill drain. Again, skill drain is like your 4th Mana Corrupt. Opponent cannot play. Insanely good card. This trap lineup, oh, the Judgment, guys, you guys don't even understand. The Judgment makes these traps so good because you're never going to be sitting there like, oh, this trap's going to get negated or whatever, because your Judgment just saves you so much. So obviously, like I said before, we're not playing a extra deck. You can't play really an extra deck with this deck. I mean, you're playing Erupt, and Erupt is too good to not like to play an extra deck. But for the side deck, we are playing triple Inspect Order. I think this is the best card in the side deck. Now, you could argue maining it, and I've seen some people main it, or main 1 at least, or something, like, I don't know. I don't like maining it only because it is an extra monster. You never really want to see it with Demise. Also, going second, it doesn't really do much for you. So, Inspect Order, really good in the side deck. You know you're going first, you side them in. Auto beats, I think, most of anything in the meta right now. So, it'll beat Thunder Dragon, no issue. It'll beat Pendulum pretty well, good as well. There's no deck that can really play around this card that's in the meta right now, because even something like the only card that you could probably go into is like an Almirage or something. Solemn Great does have a decent job at it because you can normal something like a Foxy or whatever, then go into Balinx, and then you can get 1 effect. But for the most part, like, you're gonna side this in against Dangers, like Danger Thunder Dragon and whatnot, and you just straight like auto win. They cannot play around this. Most decks, like when you side this in against a lot of decks, they just can't really play around it. So obviously really good. Double Sphere Mode, I still think Pendulum is gonna be like one of the best decks in the game, and Sphere Mode is very playable in this deck, so why not play it? All your spells, if you guys don't know, all your spells give you extra normal summons or like tribute summons. So that's why like you don't mind wasting your normal summon on this. You could actually up this to 3 if you wanted to. I don't like it at 3 because I think the only break my board deck now is going to be Pendulum and Thunder Dragon. And again, going second against Pendulum or Thunder Dragon, like there's other cards in the side that I'll show you guys. But sometimes they won't even put up 3 monsters if you have like an Imperm or something. So Sphere Mode can potentially be dead sometimes, which is why I only play the 2. Triple Mystic Mind. So this card, before, actually I should say this. I only have 1. And the reason I only have 1 is because I moved mine. And the reason I moved mine was because I thought it was getting banned. So I was like, you know what? I don't want these Mystic Minds. Get them out of here. You know, they still had like, I think at the time I moved them, they were like $3 to $4 each. So I was like, you know what? $3 to $4, I'm going to move them. I don't really care. They're going to get banned. And then they didn't get banned. So like, that's why even here you see this is the Unlim one that I opened from a special edition. Otherwise it's like, they didn't get banned. And so I was like, oh, well, I can't do this deck profile. Now I have to proxy. So it kind of sucks that I'm proxying for you guys. My bad for that. But Triple Mystic Mind, and I know I said how much I hate this card, but like the thing is, like this card is insane, bro. Like it is insane. Like we can't, you know, and if something is in the game and it's a fairly not expensive card, like Mystic Mind's obviously just a super rare, it's fairly like inexpensive, you do want to play it. Going second, this just straight boom, auto win. Like, you know, or you don't open optimally, boom, let me stall you out until I open what I need and then I just beat you, right? Mystic Mind is such a good card. You still do have 1 terraforming, so it's still kind of, you're playing like 4 copies. You only sided in going second, obviously. Most of the side deck is just for going second, because going first, your main deck deals with everything in the format. So you only side this in going second, obviously. Insanely good card. This is a weird card that I decided to play. So I decided to play 3 Stormforth in the side deck. Now you can move this. This was like a last minute kind of addition. So I thought about playing cards like Anti-Spell, maybe more Floodgates. But then the thing is with that is you really want to be able to go second in this deck, because when I was looking into my main deck, this stops pretty much every deck in the format. Like there can only be one pretty much stops every deck in the format. Erupt stops everything in the format. Crackdown breaks boards. Skill Drain stops, right? So the thing is you have so many cards in this deck that essentially will be able to stop your opponent going first that you want to be able to go second. And again, sometimes a lot of boards and a lot of decks won't be able to put 3 monsters out on the field. And if they can't put 3 monsters out on the field, this becomes dead, right? And I don't think Orchist does 3 monsters anymore. I think it's gone back to topological, like Topo plus Longirsu combo. So the thing is, like, being able to Stormforth a monster, or Stormforth one of your opponent monsters, and get rid of a monster that way is insanely good. Against something like Orchist, it'll bait out their Crescendo, because you can use this, and if they don't activate the Crescendo on this, you'll just tribute their Orchis Link monster, and then Crescendo's dead. So that's why Stormforth, I decided to play it at 3. You can obviously cut it. It's a really random card to play, but I really like it. It's actually funny, but it's actually really good. Triple evenly matched. It beats Rogue. It beats in the mirror match. It's really good. But again, Judgment is back at 3, which is why I actually like Judgment at 3. That's why I'm saying Judgment is so good. Your opponent evenly's you have the Judgment, so it's really good. But you still want to play it, because you can't assume that your opponent always has Judgment or always has a negate. So it just outs a lot of stuff. And then the last card is just 1 Imperial Order for the side deck. auto wins against Sky Striker. I don't think Sky Striker is going to be played too much anymore, but I mean, they do have mine, I guess, still. They do have Anchor and Engage, so I guess it's still playable, but auto wins against Striker, auto wins against Pendulum, and that's why this is the only, I guess, going first card in the side deck, and just this and this, basically. These are the only cards going first against the side deck, because you still need something to side in against, like, you know, like, this is just auto win, right? Why not play this, right? This is also just auto win against, like, Danger or something. That's why you still play them. Okay, so that's it for the deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed July 15th, 2019, post-ban list True Draco. A couple of you guys actually asked for this, which is why I put it together. I didn't think at first, I was like, do I need to put a Draco profile together? I mean, like, nothing of Draco came off the list or you know, got hit, but because Judgment, like, because literally just because of this card, this deck becomes so much better in my opinion, and because the other decks essentially got weaker, this deck will move up the ladder as a more competitive and, like, better deck, essentially. If you guys have any suggestions or any changes, obviously let me know in the comment section below. Not every deck is perfect. Not every deck I make is obviously perfect, but this is as optimal as I found it to be, and I'm really just, like, enjoying this deck. So if you guys do have any suggestions, obviously leave it down in the comment section below. If you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and with that, Spanko signing out. Peace.
My hands steady, I feel ready, but my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises, you ain't stopping this.